Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. Looking for the ultimate miter saw setup? Well, stay tuned. This is like the ultimate setup. This is what I've always dreamed about. So, especially if you have a small woodworking shop like mine, the micro shop, where your miter saw is always stationary. Well, I'm a woodworker and a carpenter. So that means I do work here in my shop building stuff where I use this miter saw setup. And I also load it in my van, take it to a job site, run trim, run flooring, or whatever. But it's set up in such a way where I can run it inside, and so dust is not going everywhere. So let's check it out. Well, like I said, this saw is about I don't know, the saw itself is about 4 years old. I used to have a different stand, and then I added the dust collector. But let's go through it piece by piece first. So you roll it on the job site. This is a Dewalt miter saw stand with wheels, and so it rolls pretty easily. And they've thought of everything, even the bar here. It's got a place so you can slide your hand, so you're not doing a wide grip, but I can just put my hand here and lift that way. So it loads in and out of my work van real easy. It moves around the shop real easily. Just to lift it up, I've got a, you grab this handle and push that button in and all the way up until it finally locks in place. And so let's, now this is real professional here, okay? I can tell you where I purchased this rope, and you too can have one. Hey, if it works, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this. This is a Rousseau dust collecting tent. It's what it's called, a dust tent from Rousseau. And it's as you can see, it's the Rousseau 5000. I've had this for about 3 years. It mounts real easily to the stand just on these side tabs here. And that can be tightened up a little bit more, but it just slides in and out. Works out real well. Like I said, this thing is super durable. It's I put my tools through the ringer, and this one has just gone extremely well. Made in the USA. There you go. So the tent's like this. And so let me pull this up. It's got a dust collector, so you can hook your vacuum cleaner up to it. And so as you're cutting, the tent kind of fits around and the dust shoots in there. Now, you know, it gets 80% or 90% of the dust. It does a great job. I've never had a homeowner complain about it, you know, about having excess dust. Because you're going to have dust when you're doing construction or remodeling. But the Rousseau dust tent, these things do have outrigger arms like this. And I'm going to tell you something good about it, and I'm going to tell you something bad. Something, one, you need to buy this, especially if you're a woodworker, carpenter. This is a great accessory to have. Now these slide out, obviously, when I have a piece of stock in here. I've got a long piece of wood. I want it supported, and that's where these outriggers come in handy. And you can have this too high. And that's obviously where you want to look down here. To cut safely, you want to make sure that this outer support arm comes down, and you keep moving. Jason, if you can get that shot. So it comes down, and so it's nice and flush. And so everything's smooth that way. See, this one on this end, I got a little play in that. So this one over here, I'll drop it down. See how that board is flat on my surface? Because, you know, miter saws are real bad about pulling that way. You've ever cut before, and you're trying to cut a small piece, and so you can have your finger here and it'll just suck it right back. So with miter saws, there's so much torque and power behind them. You got to be really, really careful. But back to the stand here. So these things go way out. Now, here's the downside, and it's really not Dewalt's fault, it's Jay's fault, okay? You gotta watch your employees. So what you don't want to do is this. These little knobs down here, don't over tighten them. Just give them a snug fit so they stay tied in. Now, these things were supposed to slide in, kind of interlocking, but because they were over tightened and it's damaged this, it won't slide like that in. So I have to take one out now. And that's not, like I said, it's not a design problem. It's somebody just over tightening. You don't have to crank down on this thing so tight. You just get it real snug so it doesn't move. So that's a tip there. And I'll find you, Jay. And I mean, I'll get you for messing up my tools. Nobody messes with my tools, brother. I'll get you. I'll hunt you down. Yeah, so here's a neat little trick that I picked up on. If you want to do multiple cuts in your little outriggers, you can actually set this up as a stop. Say just, for instance, I want to do a 22 inch cut, and I've got to do a bunch of repetitive cuts, especially for fences or something like that, for pickets. So I can take this arm swinging around this way, get it lined up with my 2x4 or whatever the stock I'm cutting, and just kind of butt it up there like that, tighten it back down, and then that way, every time I place a board up here, I just butt it up, cut, take a new board, butt it up, boom, and make another cut. That way the outriggers also kind of now works as a stock stop, so I can just make multiple cuts like that. You'll notice when I said that you can use the outrigger arm, and especially like this support piece, for a stop for your stock. In one video you saw it this way, and then like in another section you'll see it like this. So what's the difference in between the two? Well, it's another little thing that I learned, that if I have a long piece, I just kind of kept it this way because that's the normal position that it's in. But if I'm cutting a shorter piece, that I would slide this in, but it would only go so far. You know, it kind of stops right there. But what if I had a piece that I wanted to use a stop? And that's why I would rotate it this way. And now you see I got the extra distance. So it'll almost go to the end of my miter saw. So that's another little trick. Just by twisting it, 90 degrees, you can use it for shorter stock if you're having a bunch of short pieces. That's a good tip. Here we are. We have the Dewalt HEPA filter vacuum cleaner, and if you look in another video, I've got a whole kind of review, if you will, on this one. So what I need to do to hook it up to my Rousseau 10, I need several different things. One is just this will unscrew, and of course this is reverse threaded. That's the little locking mechanisms for your other tools. It's reverse threaded, so make sure you spin that the other way. And then I'll hook it up to my Rousseau tent. Now for the tent, I did kind of use this little adapter here so that it would fit in like this. And so it hooks to the bottom of my tent. I'm sure there are attachments. That's just what I had laying around the shop that worked for me. Now, of course, from here, now what's great about this this vacuum cleaner, it will work in conjunction with my miter saw. So when I hit the trigger, actually the vacuum cleaner will cut on. But to make all that work, I take my miter saw, plug it into the vacuum cleaner up top here, like that. I hit the little switch over here on the right, and then I hook the power on to the vacuum cleaner, and it'll make a little short burst. Cut right back off, and that lets me know that it is in sync with my miter saw. Now the great thing about this, when you have your miter saw hooked up to the Dewalt HEPA filter vacuum or dust collection unit, which this really becomes a dust collector, make sure the hose is out of the way and there's nothing in your way. And so now I've got my dust tent in place, and I've got everything looking good. And so now when it shoots dust out of the back of the saw, it will go back here into and be collected with a dust collector. And you can see there's some dust back there already. So the great way that this works now, not only do I have an awesome miter saw set up, it's also on the job or in my shop. It works as a dust collector too. So I'm keeping. And so now this real simple. When I cut my saw on, you can hear the vacuum cleaner cutting on now, and it'll run for a little bit, making sure it gets all the dust out. Then it's off, and you're off to the races. So now you can see why this is my dream setup. It's an awesome saw where I can run I can cut stock, I can cut framing material with an awesome stand that rolls out to the job site. I can fold it up, roll it in the corner of my small shop. I got an awesome dust collecting tent. Hey, it is the dream setup. Hey, thanks for watching the Sawdust Dude. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation today of my dream setup. Hey, thanks again for watching the Sawdust Dude. I appreciate it so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like it, the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you. Hey, thanks again, and I'll see you real soon on the Sawdust Dude.